Hello, I'm Sideshow and I'm back with some more over.gg coverage of DreamHack Winter, and this time I'm with Zappis of Ninjas in Pyjamas, and it's just at the beginning of the second day here, so he's already booked his spot in the playoffs after the games yesterday, that final one being played off stream against Complexity with the second map. So you're ready to face on all challengers in the playoffs. How has the journey to this point been so far in DreamHack?
Well, it has gone as expected. So we really expected our triple tank composition to succeed, and we trained really hard when we came to DreamHack, and we'll just go all the way through if we can.
So coming back to the beginning of your days playing with NiP and the team forming, when you really rose to prominence was with the start of this triple tank strategy that you were running when Ana started being prevalent in the meta. What was it about this strategy, or you coming up with the strategy, that allowed you to succeed where you had previously not been able to?
Well, when we got signed with NiP, then we really started to focus on the fundamentals of the game, when we attack, when we defend, when we regroup, stuff like that. And then we just found out triple tank really fit our playstyle, and we had really comfortable picks with Roadhog, Zarya, Ana. Then it's just it was the comp that we could grind the game to another level. So it just happened that way. It's just all the pages turned, and then we started to play it.
So the fact that you had been signed with NiP, did that give you more time or freedom, or were you just more focused because you were a sponsor team? What about that signing made you feel like now is the time to really master the fundamentals of this game?
Well, it made us, enabled us to play, really, because we didn't have a solid six-man roster even before we signed with NiP. By signing with NiP, we got Kynal to the roster, and he couldn't really play before we had a salary, because he had a really demanding job, and he didn't really have much time to play. So by signing with NiP, we got the schedule, training schedule, everything got set up, and we started to practice and started to grind the game.
Okay, and just going into that with your roster, the majority of it has been together for a while, but you kind of switch people in and out a little bit. I know Lasse, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but he was with you guys before, and then you brought in zappis just before the Overwatch Open and that kind of stuff happened. So, but you have in general been a fairly stable roster compared to some of the other teams who changed their roles around and things like that. Do you feel like that's been a benefit for you, or what was it like having to switch people in and out?
Yeah, of course, it has been a great benefit for us, because the four-man core of our team, Mafu, Hymsi, Kynal and me, have been playing TF2 together as well, and we really know each other's person and stuff like that. But we had the problem that we couldn't really find a support player and couldn't find a solid main tank player. That's when Fraggy came in. He came in not in the first betas, but near the end of the second beta, and he started to play main tank. He didn't actually play main tank before. He played DPS heroes before that. So by transitioning him to main tank, he got experience with it. In the beginning, it was kind of in Take TV, we were kind of shaky. Our gameplay wasn't that good. But when we got solid six-man roster, and Fraggy had time to adjust to the main tank role, and he became really good at it, then we just got the succeed for our team.
We've seen a lot of teams recently follow you and play the triple tank style, and I mean there's been various different evolutions of that particular style with 3 supports right back at the beginning, and then 2, and then sometimes playing with a single DPS or another tank, and all different variations but on a similar theme. What about it, and what about your style makes you guys better than the others at playing that?
Well, it's the experience, because we played this comp so many times, so many situations. We've seen basically everything that can be done against it, and we really know what to do on situations to make the situation beneficial for us, and that's how we just grinded the game. And it's not only about the comp, it's about how you play the comp as well, of course. So we just our playstyle, we've seen it all. That's basically it. We've seen all the counters.
Do you feel like it does just fit your style, or is it the best comp in the game? You know, if you were trying to rank them objectively, if that even is possible, or does it have to fit the style of the team in order to be one of the best comps?
Yeah, of course. That's how it became a comp for us, because everyone is on a comfortable hero pick, and they're really good at those heroes. Then it's just about how you fit your playstyle on every map to you make small adjustments and then you work around it. It's not I don't think there is a strongest comp in the game at the moment. It's just what you've trained, what your comfortable picks with the heroes, and then how you just want to play the game. You can play the game super aggressive dive comps as well, but you just need to have the experience with it.
Since coming back from the Overwatch Open, which was your first LAN event as a team, you guys have been just slaughtering everybody online. You've had a ridiculous reign at the moment. You are the kings of Europe in terms of online play. What has that been like to be able to dominate everybody? Do you think you'd have the same results if all of the teams were there, or if it was on LAN? What are your thoughts about the fact that it's all been online and yet you've had such dominance?
Well, we had really good record against Reunited as well before they left Korea. We never actually played against Rogue, so I don't know how that matchup would go. But if I would compare teams in the world, I think Rogue would be one of our greatest nemesis in a way. But the recent online battles have been kind of beneficial for us, because a lot of teams they have really lost what they have been playing. There used to be solid comps where they played, and now they're all trying everything, and everyone plays Diva or Dive or even Sombra. But we feel stick to our playstyle and made few adjustments. For example, we play Soli now. We didn't play Soli because Soli got buffed on this patch. We just get the positions in where the Soli is good, and then we pick Soli. But in Europe, the teams have been reforming a lot. The top teams have been struggling to keep up with us, because the Misfits changed their player as well, and Dignitas has been underperforming super hard. So I don't know, it's the conclusion of all those things.
Okay, when people look at that kind of record, the fact that you were doing incredibly well online before the Overwatch Open, and then you've been doing insanely well afterwards. You're on something like a 19-match win streak, and I think you're 42 maps to 5 over the course of that, and 4 of them are to Misfits as well, and only 1 lost to a team lower than that. So when people look at that kind of result, they're obviously going to point questions at the single LAN that was in the middle of that and say, are these guys only able to perform online, or what happened at that LAN event in order for them not to be able to have that kind of success? What do you think, from your perspective, happened at the Overwatch Open that made success, you weren't able to replicate the success there?
Well, the match in Overwatch Open, even though it was 3-1, it was actually a really close game. We had 2 overtime maps that could have gone to our favor if we just played a little bit better. I'm not taking any credit away from Misfits, they played super well, but we had really solid plan on what to do on the LAN, and we just couldn't quite get there. But after that LAN, we became really frustrated that we lost, so we're this is not gonna happen again. We just strive for perfection with our game, and that's how we just don't take any games. We take every game in online seriously as well.
Were you slightly frustrated that you haven't had the opportunity to compete at a LAN until now? It's been a number of months. It's been 2 months, I think, since the Overwatch Open concluded. And obviously teams have been invited to Shanghai for APAC, Korea for Apex, and obviously they were done on the seeds of before the Overwatch Open happened, because things take time to go through. But was there some frustration there that you weren't able to compound on the fact that you're currently one of the best teams in the world?
Well, obviously, I would have loved to go to Korea. That tournament looks really amazing. The competition looks really at high level. Every Korean team, they have their own style in a way, their own heroes that they wanna focus the game style with it, and I really love that kind of style of gameplay. But as you said, the invitations were probably planned in summer or something like that, and we weren't really that great of a team back then. But yeah, I'm really happy that we were at BlitzCon with 3 of our guys, and that was a good experience as well. Then we have DreamHack and MGA. I think our tournament schedule is pretty nice for this year.
And you'll be hoping then to capitalize on the fact that you're currently one of the best teams and take home a couple of land victories as well. You don't see any issue down the road? You feel comfortable in these lands that are coming up?
Yeah, we can obviously take the win here, and I'm really looking forward for MGA as well, because one Korean team is there. Like, that's gonna be really exciting. But yeah, I think we can take it all. We can take the win here, and we can take the win at MGA for sure.
In terms of the European teams, like yourselves and Misfits, not being able to compete with the other top talents that are kind of around the world, you've almost been quarantined a little bit inside Europe for the moment. But it makes me think a little bit about the Overwatch League in a year's time, and how a lot of the competition may be moving over to North America in order to play there at the beginning before they expand to other places. We presume. We don't really have that much information. So what are your thoughts about the Overwatch League and how the European teams are going to fit into that?
Well, if the league goes like, you can keep the same teams and you just like go to a league system in NA, I think it's going to work fine. Obviously, I want the league to expand to Europe so that we don't have to go to NA, even if it's only for like 3 to 4 months. But I think the league system can be really good for the game if it's done well. So, but I don't know. I haven't heard any specifics about the league, so I'm like totally out of it. I just know it's going to happen next year.
Okay, talking more specifically about DreamHack Winter and this patch in particular, it's been interesting for a lot of teams because they're kind of scrambling to adapt from what they were running previously. A lot of them using Ana, Mei, Reaper, these kind of compositions. And now a lot more of them bringing D.Va into it, bringing Soldier into it, and trying to play more of the triple tank strategies, but we've also seen other things thrown around. What are your opinions on those changes and the attempt to bring particularly D.Va into it, because you were talking about that previously, and you guys obviously haven't tried things that much differently. The only real adjustment from the outside looking at you is that you've brought in Soldier, but you used to play a vast majority of heroes anyway, so it doesn't seem like that much of a change for ninjas.
Well, we have experimented with D.Va, so if they're like the enemy team comp and our team comp and the map works out, then we'll have D.Va on our team comp. But like I said, we still think that Zarya is really strong because, well, people are running D.Va now. So Zarya just can shaft the D.Va all the time. And I think people are kind of overestimating D.Va a bit. Of course, she's strong, but if you're like really coordinated and just don't give like too much room for the flanks, or you just have like one person in a flank and just D.Va denies him totally, I think she isn't really that great. But obviously she's a great asset to like teams that play super aggressive and just want to deny a certain hero. It's just like how your playstyle is. So she's a really good like hero to fit to the different comps.
What do you think of the teams at the moment? So we've just seen Misfits and Fnatic play against each other, and Fnatic were using a lot of Zen, and Misfits using a lot of Tracer, and they seem to be going for. There was a Junkrat in play there as well. They seem to be going for a very like shield shredding, oh, that's difficult to say, strategy in an attempt to get them down and push them out of the area. We saw some Widowmaker coming out as well. What are your opinions on these kind of heroes that are more damage related rather than tank related? Do you think that might be a good counter?
I think it's just how Misfits like to play the game. Like, I heard things that they don't want to play the tank, play into the tank meta. They want to play their own thing. So, like I said, if you can make it work, you have like players who are really comfortable on those heroes, and then you just have the coordination to execute. I think it can work out. But like the Zen pick, again, people are running D.Va. Zen is really good against the D.Va because you can just orb the D.Va. So it's just like what you do with your team and what you want to accomplish. So.
Is that the same situation with Sombra then? Or do you think that occupies a slightly different niche where people are directly trying to anti-strat in some way?
I think Sombra feels a bit weak. Like she had some success against us yesterday, but when we played the game off stream, we shut her down completely. When we figured out how to play against her, like that was our first time basically playing against Sombra. But she just seems a bit weak at the moment. But again, I guess teams can find a way to use her, but I think it's going to take a while still.
Something I was thinking about when I look at the history of your team is that you guys feel very comfortable on the tank heroes, and this particular meta in this patch appears to have made you even stronger. What would happen if a patch suddenly made tanks very useless for you guys, or you couldn't run them in such a strong composition? Have you thought about that eventuality? Would you just be scrambling to adapt? Worst case scenario, you see a situation where you could plunge back to the SG1 days where you were really like an upcoming team, you weren't battling with the top ones. Do you think that's realistic, or is that just not going to happen?
Well, the SG1 days we weren't coordinated enough, and we didn't really understand the game to the level that we understand the game now. Even if all the tanks got nerfed to a really dumb level, I think we would still succeed. Like Mafu and Hymsi, they actually have quite deep hero pools. Like Hymsi plays really good Genji and Reaper, and Mafu plays really good Pharah and other projectile heroes except Genji, and he's a really good sniper as well. Then Fraggy is not only a tank player, he used to be a DPS player. He can transition into a DPS heavy role, whatever that is. And obviously me, I have played every character in the game at the highest level, so it's just if they nerf the tanks, we would just find the way around it and just keep playing, and I think we would succeed still.
But at the moment, we haven't seen that just because you haven't been forced to. You're still perfectly comfortable on the tank setup. You feel like that's the best for your team at the moment?
Well, playing with tanks, it's really safe. You do consistent damage, you get consistent picks, and you can consistently grind the win. And that's how we find the game go, and why we're playing this comp.
Okay, talking about DreamHack Winter specifically, just to round things off, we're currently at the stage where the other teams are fighting for the second playoff spot. We've actually just left as we find out who it is, but we know that Misfits have booked their place. Fnatic versus LDLC is currently going on, and we saw Fnatic take the first map, so we'll assume that it's Misfits, Fnatic, and yourselves, and probably Complexity from the other one, because they have to take on Penta. How do you think those four teams stack up?
I don't know. Fnatic Misfits seem kind of close, really close actually. They had overtime finish on the third map, and it was really close. It just went through the end. I don't know about Complexity. They could be really good against other teams, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if Complexity were at the finals. But I don't know. With these four teams remaining, I think anyone in a way could take it. It just depends on their performance today.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to me, Zappis, and good luck with your games.
Thanks.